Welcome everyone. We're running it back. I hope you guys enjoyed our session the other day. Drama International. This is our Legacy Leadership Chat. I'm your host, Gerald Jarman. And today we're going to tackle a topic that's current, prevalent, that's also, I believe, is causing a lot of division, chaos, tension, fear, you name it. It's present today. So we're going to hop right into it. And we want to discuss the climate of America. The climate of what's going on here, whether it's related to the inner cities, to the suburbs, to leadership, to government, whatever. So I realize there's a lot of talking heads out there. Everybody has an opinion.
Social media, man.
Social media. Yeah, everybody has an opinion about what's going on today. And and rightfully so, it is affecting everyone personally. This tension and this everything we're facing today is affecting everyone, but it might be affecting everyone differently. So we just want to talk. We want to share. Again, I got my man Andre Cooper here, my brother. He's a great young man, influencing. Has a platform here in the Harrisburg community. Again, we're in Central Pennsylvania. And we've worked together for a number of years and still do. So, Andre, let's start off by, I want to ask you, first of all, what is your impression on the climate of today and what we're actually experiencing? What's your first thoughts on everything?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's just, that's probably like the first thing I think is crazy. And we just mentioned about social media, where social media is an awesome tool, right? Like, this is probably going to be on social media, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's an awesome tool for people who might not have had a voice to have a voice. And so it's also a time where people who probably shouldn't have a voice has a voice, right?
Right.
So like, and so like people are a lot in their emotions right now. And so a lot of time in their emotions, we are just saying things. And I'm not just even talking about just the Black community. I'm talking about the white community. I'm talking about just in general. Like everybody is just in their emotions, whether they feel defensive and attacking back to attacks that's been at them, if they're shaming. Like, so it's just like chaos that's going on right now. So that's when I look at what's going on, that's what I feel.
Yeah. So, and in the midst of the chaos, it seems like it's spinning out of control. It just seems like every day there's something else. There's this and then there's this happening. You just almost feel like, when is it going to end? You can't. You're just looking forward to the day where you don't have to hear about it. You don't have to see it. So, what do you think? You're from the inner city. You grew up in the inner city, Andre. What are your thoughts on inner city America and the youth? As far as, because a lot of people are saying, or they're talking about, or there's a misconception of, Blacks are destroying themselves. Okay, I want to talk about this first. Okay, so there's a conception of, Blacks are destroying themselves. They can't get out of each other's way. That's a serious issue. So what are your thoughts on that, Coop? Being that you grew up in the inner city, what do you think about that?
I think some of it's true. There are things that we definitely are hindering ourselves with, that we have control over. And there are some systemic issues that are there that we do have to deal with. But we can't ignore the fact that we also are detrimental to ourselves sometimes too. You know what I mean? So we can't just talk about one thing and be about one thing and then completely ignore the other, because that's not the only issue that's causing us pain. Right. So I think so. Yeah, there's some up there, but what people do, whether it's people who are going against some of the protesting or against some of the people being upset, they'll throw this other thing at us, but they only care about that one thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have the Black communities only caring about this one thing. But if we really want to deal with the issues, like, we got to deal with both. Like, it's not just one. It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
And so I think just looking at that, we got to really examine it and
Yeah.
look at both of them.
Yeah, you touched on something where I think it's really important. It's not just one particular issue.
No.
It's not, we can't pigeonhole it, and it's not a cookie cutter to say, okay, if we just solve this, then we're gonna be fine.
Like, let's be real for a minute. Like, if we can get all of the systematic stuff out, right? Which we should. You know what I mean? So let's be clear. That stuff needs to be talked about. But let's say we can get all that systematic stuff out of the way. Do we really believe that, you know, our communities and the things that we deal with is going to be 100% fixed? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not going to be. You know what I mean? There's things that, you know, I've always looked at situations, and this is what I try to teach my kids, is that I have to deal with my stuff first before I'm trying to tell other people, you know, whatever else. Like, so if I can't take care of me, I can't complain when you're doing something to me.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? You know, even though what you're doing to me is wrong and it should be dealt with, but if I'm doing stuff to me too, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like come some of those things. So that's why I really like look at it, as like you said, like, it's not just one issue.
No.
Like, we gotta be equally engaged and passionate about all the issues that are hurting us.
And in saying that, it's not going to happen overnight.
No,
it's not. The change is not going to happen overnight. But I do believe, as I think there's a great awareness now.
No, there.
I think one of the things that is positive and good out of all this.
Yeah.
There's more of a social awareness.
Yeah.
Whether you're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. So I think that's important. But the thing is now, where do we go from here?
Right.
And I think people are reacting and responding in ways that are detrimental to fixing the problem.
Right.
But then on the flip side, I do see a lot of initiatives. I see a lot of movements. I see people putting their money where their mouth is, putting money towards communities, different things. So it's like a mixed bag. There's a lot of good happening out of this, even from white suburbia. You know, you know, you see a lot of them are trying to help. You know, but at the same time, then there's others who are on the other side. So I don't think to expect to have uniformity across the globe is setting ourselves up for failure.
Right, because you're looking at people as people. Like, people are so complex. Like, we look at people. We try to put people in boxes, right? We try to say, you know, here's liberal America, here's conservative America, here's Democrat America, and Black America, and white America. Like, I don't fit in those boxes. Right. And a lot of other people don't. We put ourselves in those boxes, but realistic, if you want to know who I am and I want to know really who you are, you don't really fit in those boxes. No. Especially as a person, you know, of faith, like, you know, as a Christian. Like, if you're really following your Christianity for real, like, you don't fit in those boxes because there's a standard that's different. You know, so like, when you look at people, like, we try to put people in boxes to try to understand the world, but people are way too more complex than that. You know, just because we differ on one thing, then we might totally agree on something else. You know, so it's just that's part of the problem is we like, well, it's this in these boxes and that's not going to fix it. We got to work through the complexity of humans and us being different, and sometimes we're going to have to go through some offense each other because we grew up different, we thought differently, those types of things. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up, I tell people all the time, like, you know, I grew up and, you know, my grandma was like telling me, I love my grandma to death, sweet lady, but she told me, you better not bring home a white girl. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
You know, like, so like, there was things that I grew up with. I wasn't attracted to white girls growing up. Right. Because that was in my mind. So everybody has those stories, I'm sure, in their life about something that was a bias or anything like that people grew up with. The thing is that we got to give people opportunity to change their minds or to grow in their thinking. If I didn't grow in my thinking, I wouldn't be married now, because I married a white woman. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And like, and I say that because I wouldn't be married and I wouldn't have, you know, my 7 kids and all those kinds of things. And, you know, I wasn't searching for, you know, it just happened. And it was like, oh, this is a beautiful woman, not just, you know, how she looked, but just who she was, you know, on the inside. And so I allowed myself to get out of that that thinking, and that's what we have to be willing to do with people. You know, is be ready to get them out of that thinking. You know,
right. Man, you touched on a lot of good points. Obviously, we can't cover everything in one session here, but as we wrap up, and maybe I'll have you come back sometime. Maybe we'll do it again because this is so broad, and we don't have all the answers.
Right? No.
We're not going to perpetrate and pretend like we do. But one of the things I do want to say is, and I say this all the time, God created the human race. With different colors. Okay, we are one race of people, and when we understand that, there's no second-class citizens in the eyes of God.
No.
He didn't create first and second class. In the eyes of God, we're all first class. So, and we all have a purpose within our race. Within our sphere of influence, we have a purpose in it. Some people say, I don't see color. Well, that's not really that's not my philosophy. I see color, but the color doesn't influence me.
Right. The color doesn't make one greater than the other.
Right.
There's different colors, there's different cultures, there's different things to look at, but that doesn't mean that, one's here and one's up here. Like it's okay to acknowledge someone's differences or to look at and see differences. That's cool. Just what are you going to do with it?
Right. That's the key. And I'm going to end with this statement here. I read this the other day. Unity does not mean conformity. Unity does not mean conformity. Right. Unity means celebrating diversity. I'll say it again. Unity does not mean conformity. You don't have to conform. You don't have to sacrifice your ideals and how you feel about something to conform to someone else. But it's celebrating diversity, celebrating what you bring to the table.
Right.
I think that's what's missing. In order to celebrate, though, you have to embrace, you have to listen. We have to move beyond lecturing to listening. We have to listen in this day and time. We need to listen more than we lecture. Right. Because if we do that, then we can get an understanding. We can bridge the gap. Right. We can embrace each other. So man, this is exciting here. Really wish we can continue, but we will. I'll have Andre back on. Hope you enjoyed today. You guys have a great day, and remember, no matter where you are on the spectrum, we all have different beliefs, feelings, backgrounds, experiences. Just remember that it's okay to embrace someone else if they don't look like you. It's okay to embrace someone else if they don't have the same experiences. That's what makes us unique, and that's what makes us flourish as a people and as a nation. Because in the eyes of God, we're all first-class citizens. All right, so thanks again, Andre.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so if you haven't done so, make sure you like my page, follow Gerald International, and we will see you next week. Always remember, someone is waiting and dependent on your influence.
Perfect.